Huge blow for Aston Martin as Stroll breaks silence after secret buyout revealed. Aston Martin's journey in Formula One this season has been nothing short of a roller coaster. But then, like a twist in a story, reality hit and their performance began to wane. Has Lawrence Stroll, the Canadian billionaire who invested heavily in the team, lost interest in their F1 venture? What's really happening at Aston Martin, and what does Stroll have to say about it? Is it the end of the road for drivers like Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso in the iconic green of Aston Martin? Let's dive into the intriguing drama that's unfolding in the world of Formula One. Aston Martin kicked off the season with a bang, surprising many by challenging Red Bull as a serious competitor. As life often does, reality intervened, and the once speedy green machine started losing its spark, leaving fans and pundits in a state of disappointment. What's more, it seems that Lawrence Stroll, the deep-pocketed Canadian billionaire who poured his resources into the team, may have run out of patience. Curious about what's happening at Aston Martin and what Lawrence Stroll has to say about it? Wondering if this marks the end of the road for Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso in the iconic Aston Martin green. The team's performance has taken a nosedive, and in Japan, Alonso's frustration became crystal clear through his radio messages. Instead of the cheerful messages we heard at the season start, Alonso expressed his exasperation. "You've thrown me to the lions by stopping that early, mate," he vented over the radio. Alonso insists he's not angry with his team. He blames the broadcast, suggesting that his comments were taken out of context by FOM, or Formula One management. Alonso's journey at racing teams often follow a pattern: initially fast, followed by a slump, and then public clashes. Are we nearing the clash stage again? Let's find out. The Alonso roller coaster has a familiar pattern. He starts in the car, it seems lightning fast, but then the pace drops, and he points fingers at external issues. Next, the car's performance slides even further, and he openly criticizes the team both on track and in the media. Finally, he exits amidst a storm of controversy that grabs headlines. So where are we in this Alonso F1 drama cycle now? Well, we're likely at the stage where he's openly blaming the team in front of cameras and microphones. And it's not just us noticing this. Lawrence Barretto sees it too. He finds it intriguing that Alonso's becoming more vocal on the radio, especially when earlier in the season he maintained a more level-headed and team-oriented approach. But now, as more of those frustrated messages emerge, it's clear that Alonso's feeling the heat, and that could potentially spell trouble. So is Alonso right to be annoyed, or is his frustration becoming disruptive? The frustration brewing within Aston Martin isn't just limited to Fernando Alonso. Lawrence Stroll, the billionaire behind the scenes, seems to be having his own reservations. Stroll, whose wealth is estimated at a staggering $3.65 billion, made significant investments in Aston Martin after acquiring the former Racing Point team. In March 2021, he unveiled an ambitious 5-year plan, envisioning Aston Martin as a top contender for F1 titles. A pivotal aspect of this blueprint was a cutting-edge factory, carrying a price tag of around £200 million, or approximately $250 million. On the surface, it seems like this state-of-the-art facility could catapult Aston Martin from mid-table status to the pinnacle of Formula One. But the question arises: why would a billionaire like Lawrence Stroll even contemplate selling his stake in the team? Well, here's the thing about billionaires. They didn't amass their fortunes by making frivolous investments. They expect substantial returns on their capital. Given Aston Martin's recent underwhelming performance, even the billionaire playbook might be hinting at a potential exit strategy. Looking at the financial snapshot, the numbers reveal a mixed bag. While year-on-year turnover did rise from £150 million to nearly $188 million, courtesy of increased sponsorship and prize money, the gross profit took a dip, slipping from £42 million to $35.5 million. These figures raise intriguing questions about the future of Aston Martin in the world of motorsport. Will Lawrence Stroll stay the course, or is a strategic shift on the horizon? Aston Martin's directors, including Lawrence Stroll himself, didn't receive any pay from the company in 2022. That's not a great sign, especially when you dig into the numbers. In 2022, Aston Martin reported a loss of £52.9 million, up from £43.3 million the previous year. year, and that's after factoring in income from sources like UK government grants. Now, even if you're not a financial whiz, these figures paint a bleak picture. If you happen to be Lawrence Stroll, you might be contemplating the idea of cashing out, especially if a tempting offer lands on your table for what's become an underperforming asset. And guess what? There are reports suggesting that Lawrence Stroll is indeed mulling over selling his shares in Aston Martin, including the Formula One team, to a Saudi sovereign wealth fund, with oil giant Aramco leading the discussions. But here's the intriguing part. What's the real value of an F1 team? To put it in perspective, Ryan Reynolds bought a 24% stake in Alpine for £171 million, valuing the British-French racing team at about £706 million, or approximately $860 million. Reports suggest the Saudi-backed fund is eyeing Aston Martin for roughly $844 million, which is in the ballpark of Alpine's valuation. But if you were Lawrence Stroll, would you sell Aston Martin? It's worth noting that the racing team has long been seen as a venture for his son, Lance Stroll. However, it seems Lance may have lost interest. An unnamed F1 insider believes that Lawrence Stroll may be relinquishing the dream of making his son a world champion. What a twist in the Formula One drama! So, what's next for Aston Martin, and will Lawrence Stroll take the deal if it's indeed on the table? Father and son, Lawrence and Lance Stroll, once visited a factory, but the contrast was stark. The father was visibly interested, while the son seemed rather disinterested. It's a curious situation because Lance Stroll could be the ideal choice for Aston Martin, but it appears that this partnership might not be in the cards anytime soon. So, what's the real story at Aston Martin? Officially, the team from Silverstone is denying the sale rumors. A spokesman asserted Lawrence has made it clear that a sale is out of the question. They argue that Formula One is thriving and team values are continuously climbing. According to billionaire fashion magnate Stroll, a sale is not on the agenda at the moment, but we've had inquiries. Formula One is a sport and business that's currently in high demand. While the team's approval by the FIA was expected, the real challenge lies in gaining acceptance from both the FIA and the existing teams. Even Lawrence Stroll, despite his involvement in F1, isn't too eager to add another racing team. He believes that the current 10-team setup is just right. The sport is flourishing, enjoying immense popularity and success. It's the classic case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stroll also confirmed that his son Lance and the experienced Fernando Alonso will retain their seats for the upcoming season. And in a surprising move, Aston Martin announced their return to the top tier of Le Mans racing with the mighty Valkyrie model. All of these signs seem to suggest that Lawrence Stroll isn't quite ready to exit the world of motorsport just yet. It's safe to say that he's far from calling it quits. Formula One legend Gerhard Berger offers a fresh perspective on the Lawrence Stroll and Aston Martin sale rumors. He believes that the stark contrast in performance between Stroll and his teammate Fernando Alonso has sparked these speculations. According to Berger, Stroll's former teammate Sebastian Vettel had lost motivation and was coasting, doing the bare minimum and racing alongside Stroll. In contrast, Alonso shines among the ranks of iconic champions like Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen. These elite drivers don't need encouragement from teammates. They consistently deliver top-notch performances. Interestingly, an unnamed insider from the F1 world shares a similar view, strengthening the notion that Lawrence Stroll might be re-evaluating his son's path to becoming a world champion. This insider reveals that during a factory visit, Lawrence showed a high level of interest while Lance seemed disinterested. This hints that at 64 years old, Lawrence may have realized that to elevate Aston Martin to new heights, a more competitive driver might be required to complement Alonso. So what's in store for Lance Stroll? A transition from Formula One to the World Endurance Championship in Le Mans could be a logical move, especially with the news that Aston Martin plans to enter the Adrian Newey-designed Valkyrie hypercar in WEC starting in 2025. When asked about the possibility of racing at Le Mans, Alonso, while currently focused on Formula One, expressed optimism about Aston Martin's ambitions beyond the F1 circuit. The motorsport narrative is thickening, with uncertainty surrounding the future of the Stroll-Alonso partnership and Aston Martin's broader racing aspirations. So, what are your views on this? Please let us know in the comments section below, and for more such videos, please do subscribe to our channel.